Okay, if everyone would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led this evening by our Public Works Director, Brian Sewell, followed by our invocation from Chief Thompson.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather here tonight to conduct the business of the city. We pray you be with the Board of Commissioners as they make important decisions. Please be with all of our employees and all the citizens of our community. It's in your son's name we pray.
Amen. Okay, please be seated. We'll officially call the meeting to order, starting with item number 2, departmental and agency reports. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Chenault. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cox. Anything anyone would like to highlight? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item 3, informational items, information only. Is there anything anyone would like to lift out of those? Okay, we'll move down to item 4, our work session. And we have 2 folks going to be educating us this evening. One of those first ones is Alicia Martin, our grant coordinator, to talk about Safe Streets and Roads for All grant. And so if you want to come forward, Alicia, we're anxious to hear from you.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Alicia Martin and I serve as the city's grant coordinator. I'm here today to provide an informational update on a grant application our team is preparing for the Safe Streets and Roads for All, which is abbreviated to SS4A program, which is administered through the U.S. Department of Transportation. We are pursuing this opportunity to fund the development of a comprehensive safe routes to school plan for Winchester. So this would be a citywide data-driven strategy focused on safety and connectivity for our students as they walk, bike, and ride to school. So this is a planning grant, and this particular planning grant is important as it is an essential first step to becoming eligible for much larger federal grants. The SS4A program requires applicants to complete this planning phase, so our investment in this phase is critical to us unlocking the implementation or the construction dollars. Overview of our project, we are requesting $250,000 in funding. That's a 80-20 match. So 80% of that, $200,000 will come from the federal grant, $50,000 our local match. It will be the other 20%. And we're proposing to meet that $50,000 local match entirely through in-kind contributions. So specifically, this will be my time working on the project and then donated meeting space from our local partners. So as a result, there's going to be no direct impact on the city's budget through this application. Why this project is important: Winchester has already identified some high traffic corridors and limited pedestrian infrastructure in our school zones. But we lack a unified strategy on how to guide our investments and prioritize our projects. So we intend this grant funding to help us conduct on-the-ground walk and bike assessments at all 11 public schools. We will map student travel patterns and analyze crash data in our school zones. We will learn the best strategies for engaging our families, specifically those from underserved and limited English communities. And we hope that this will recommend infrastructure improvements, which we can then use to develop our phased implementation roadmap for our investments. We've assembled a committed team of partners who are willing to contribute their time and space to ensure this project's success. We have secured support letters from a strong coalition of local partners, including our Clark County Public Schools and their transportation department, Walk by Clark County, the Winchester Clark County Planning Commission, the Clark County Health Department, the Police Department, Parks and Recreation, and the Bluegrass Area Development District. And I have in my hand support letters from all of these organizations that I'll include with our application. So in summary, this planning grant is more than a document. I'm viewing this as a strategic gateway to our future funding. It positions us for millions in potential funding and state investments, and actually it makes us more competitive in the Kentucky SHIFT process. So this is the state process for prioritizing road projects, and it gives us a clear data back roadmap for improving our school safety zones. So I'm excited about this direction that we're taking, and we just are viewing this as a proactive step in our community's infrastructure development strategy. So if you guys have any questions about the application, the program, I'd be happy to answer those.
When's the grant due, the
The
application?
grant is due June 26th.
Okay, and how long before we would know?
I think it would be this fall at the earliest.
Okay.
So I have on there January 1. We hope to,
Okay.
start the process should we be awarded of
Okay.
having the meetings to start developing the plan. So
And Alicia, this is a really important grant because we read or hear almost every day when schools are in session of children being hit by a school bus or a car getting off the school bus, on the school bus. We've had accidents here in this community and lost individuals from those kind of things. So the safer we can make it for our kids, the better we are.
right. And this is just step one, like I said. So we'll do the planning, and then hopefully it'll identify some weaknesses or areas of improvement that we can then apply for that money for the construction process. So
So this is just it's not correlated
This is-
currently.
not correlated currently. Basically, we're taking that and scaling up with this project. So we're
Okay.
taking what we're learning from that, and
Yeah.
hopefully it will guide and inform.
A couple different areas or just the one area?
No, this is going to be all of the routes.
Okay, okay.
All of the routes to our schools. So, yes.
Cool.
And hopefully we'll have the Jackson Street Bridge reopened by then, so the buses can start utilizing that again. Mr. Howard was very excited about that this week, so we're getting there.
Yes.
Any more questions for Alicia?
Good job.
So, yeah.
Been
Thank you,
upstairs hammering away.
Yes. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Okay, next item on the work session, before I call Rob up, I do want to go back on the informational items. I meant to point this out on items 3A and 3E. Our Public Works Director has achieved some perfect grade point averages, and we're very, very proud of that. He's been placed on the president's list at Eastern Kentucky University. And he also has graduated from Leadership Winchester. And good job, Brian. So. Okay, and now 4B, we will have Mr. Rob Jeffries, building a safe school, a safe Boone Avenue for everyone.
Right. So yeah, during our meetings and sessions with Smart Growth America, that's where a lot of this is coming from. We want to make sure that our routes to school, our routes to different facilities, different areas in our community are safe and are welcome to all. And so that kind of brings us to what this is. So this is a grant that the city has received from Smart Growth America. The grant is to be used for a quick build project, which is applied to a state maintained right of way or roadway. And so this grant is going to be used for Boone Avenue. There are two intersections along Boone Avenue that we're trying to focus on, and that's the College Street intersection and the Belmont intersection. And so you might ask, what is a complete street and what is a quick build project? And I hope to answer those questions for you in this presentation. So the images that you see here are the intersection of College and Boone. And then if you turn the page, you'll see the intersection of Belmont and Boone. And so the images show the existing conditions of the area, and you can kind of get an idea as to why these areas along Boone Avenue are some of our heaviest concern. I mean, if we have enough grant money to stretch along the full corridor of Boone from Maple to the bypass, we'd love to do that. It's just we're trying to be a little realistic as to how far we can stretch this money. It's a $20,000 grant, which sounds like a lot, but then when you talk about all this improvement to the infrastructure, they only go so far. And so we want to make sure we can improve the intersections here. And if we have anything left over, we'll continue it down the whole road. And so to answer the first question, a complete street. So on the following page, you see a complete street is designed for everyone, ensure streets are safe and accessible to all users, provides multiple modes of transportation. We have pedestrians, bicyclists, people who take public transit, and then of course the automobile. And then safe and accessible regardless of age, ability, income. includes sidewalks, bike lanes, crosswalks, curb extensions. It gives the street a bit of a road diet where it has a more narrow street or narrow travel lanes, has bus stops and more. Includes signage alerting both pedestrians and drivers. And so you can flip back to those existing conditions on Boone Avenue and see that not many of that exists, but we do have a very wide street. And it's pretty straight at most of its points. So what do you get with a very wide straight road? You get high speeds. You get people traveling at high speeds. And so I think this is a perfect example of where we can kind of give the road a bit of a diet, where we're making those narrower lanes. So what that will hopefully accomplish is a slower traffic speed. And then also we're providing areas now for bike lanes and pedestrians. And
Do you all feel like that will calm the truck traffic on Boone Avenue as well?
we hope that, as that truck traffic, because that's, as you see in this presentation, that's one of the main concerns the public's brought up about the truck traffic on Boone Avenue and how they're not following the route that they should take.
Right.
And whether it's in the GPS or it's not in the GPS. So I think people will just see the path that they feel is the quickest and they take it. I think when they'll see narrower lanes and bike lanes and some of the temporary posts that are going to go up, that they'll take it the one time and think, oh man, that's not a good route. I don't think I'm going to take that one again. So that's as much as we can really accomplish with this project, other than, as soon as that bypass extension comes in, that's going to be a more appropriate place for truck traffic and semi-truck traffic. So hopefully that answers a bit of a question of what is a complete street and how it provides for all sorts of different transportation. And so the next page goes over a quick build. And so what is a quick build project? So this is an infrastructure project that focuses on rapid, low-cost improvements to streets and public spaces. They use use of temporary materials and design. Typically, it's implemented within a few weeks or months, and it aims at enhancing safety, accessibility, walkability, and overall public experience. So it's a trial or a test of ideas. We try to implement these ideas first and then evaluate the outcome before committing to a larger project. And so we hope that this is a catalyst for a permanent improvement project on this site. But we want to make sure and test these ideas first before committing to them. And so you'll see on the next page that there was a public workshop that was held on June 2nd at College Park, at the College Park Pavilion. So a large crowd participated in the event, where they evaluated the existing conditions of Boone Avenue from Maple Street to Belmont. Groups formed where they discussed their experiences with the public space and the proposed improvements to the sites. Groups focused on College Street intersection, the Belmont intersection, as well as the entire street as a whole. And so a lot of the public that were there and took part of this workshop, they were really concerned about, why are we only talking about from Maple to Belmont? Why aren't we including the rest of Boone Avenue, all the way down to the bypass? And I told them, I was like, we only have $20,000 in the grant money, but if we can make that stretch, we'll make that stretch as much as possible. And we just had a meeting this morning with KYTC District 7 and talked about some of these temporary materials that we can use and who needs to be the ones putting them in place. And so there's only so much that city employees can do and public works can do. We're going to have to hire some professionals to, line out some of the more, just make sure that they're per code, per KYTC. I think we can do crosswalks. I know Brian can probably answer these questions better than I can, but I think we can do the crosswalks and put up some of the temporary posts. But when it comes to lining out the roadway, I think the state has to come in and do that. Is that yeah, a state approved contractor. And so when you put contractors in the mix, that 20,000 only goes so far, and so you can see that some of the images of the workshop and how many people attended and what they were able to take part in. And so we had plenty of markers and Sharpies and maps where they were able to put pen to paper and draw and sketch. So this wasn't anything sketched by us. This was something that the community sketched up as they were in that group together. We were there to help facilitate the discussion, help guide, but they were the ones that were putting ink to paper and putting their ideas down. And so There's a lot of good ideas, some we can implement, some we can't. But it was important to us to make sure the public was involved in that process and before we got too far into designing, And so what a lot of them saw on the next page, you can kind of see all the different comments that were made. The next one has notes that were taken in red and blue ink. But you can see that the following items were discussed at the workshop. They discussed rumble strips, painted crosswalks, dividers or delineators, four-way stop at College intersection, the width of the road, signage for truck traffic, ADA accessibility, slower speeds, narrow roadway, more crosswalks. People said it was scary walking conditions, sculptures or public art, more trees and landscaping at the crosswalks, bike lanes, maintenance of the roadways, barriers, even roundabouts, sidewalks on both sides of the street, and then caution lights and even more were discussed. And so those are some of the highlights out of the notes that we were able to take during the meeting. The next page, you'll see some of the just proposals that one of the engineers that worked with Smart Growth America was able to help us design. And so what you see in green is the bike lanes that would go, we got it as close to the Maple Street intersection as we could. Again, this meeting this morning, we said as soon as we find out how much it costs for these materials, maybe we can make it stretch further to the Maple Street intersection. But you can see that the green areas are where the bike route will be. And then that intersection of College Avenue is one of the biggest designs that we were doing here, where you'll see bump outs, curb extensions. And why we want that is that it reduces the amount of roadway that the pedestrians would have to cross. And so as we make them a little narrower, we're gonna make that path from one side of the street to the next a little less for the pedestrians to cross and to be in danger. And then also what we would like to do within the new bump out or curb extensions there is put a little public art, a little murals. Now we're going to be limited to what we're going to be able to do with that. As we discussed with KYTC this morning, is there some colors that we're going to be limited to, and we can't get too crazy, right? And so we're going to make sure that they review those as we move forward. And then, as you can see, the crosswalks on both College and Boone, as well as Belmont, will be improved. And so there are currently crosswalks on the College portions of that intersection. They're not the ladder. Is it the ladder? Is that what they call it? Ladder? Yeah, I know there's Continental and ladder. So we wanted to improve those crosswalks, make them more visible with that ladder painting on the roadway, and then also paint the bike lane in green in those intersections too. What you can't see, because it's a little tiny, is that we're gonna try to put some dividers between the bike lane and the street, where there's these delineator posts. If you turn to the page earlier, quick build project, you can see some of these posts. They were using the orange ones, but there's the white ones on the bottom of the page. Those were adhered to the ground, whether by adhesive or bolted to the street. You see them plenty in larger cities. A lot of times cars take them out. And so we're just trying to kind of make it more visible so they can see, especially with this change, hey, this road isn't as wide as it used to be. We're going to have a bike lane here now. I want to make them, more aware. And so painting the road isn't always the best. We want to put up these posts as well to make sure that they see that, hey, you're going to be sharing the road with another form of transportation here. Also, you can see the use of parking stops. We were just told this morning that we're going to be limited to that. We might not be able to use that, but we might have to look at other things that I call them armadillos. I think that's what some people call them. They're like round plastic barriers that you can put on the floor. It's kind of like you can roll over them, but it's a bit of like a speed bump. Again, we'll know more further along we get in the project and what the state approves for us to use, the materials for us to use on the roadway. Any questions for me?
Back a second where it showed the green and white lanes. No.
So towards
Yeah,
the
we need-
last, towards the end. There is one page I didn't go over, and that's just the committee members. If you want to know who all took part in the committee, but to answer your questions, the proposal that was drawn up, I think the second to last page. There you go. Yeah.
Right here, the bike lanes,
Mhm.
right there.
Yes.
Is that where that's gonna, and then those people in those lanes will go on to that intersection and then? Is there anything for protection there at that intersection,
On Maple.
right there at Boone and Maple?
So. Like I said earlier, we want to be able to go. The reason why it's stopping there is because there's currently a turning lane. There's talks about whether or not there needs to be a turning lane there. Could this be the one lane where you can turn or go straight or take a right? And if we're able to reduce it to just the one lane, then we'll be able to have room for a bike lane on either side. But we talked a bit about that with the state. We need to get more traffic counts to make sure, that we're not going to cause a nuisance or hazard to
Right.
drivers if we reduce the
Well, it
amount of
gets
lanes
backed
there.
up right now.
It does, whereas as I leave to go home from work,
Yeah.
I see it that plenty of, beyond
Especially the
college.
people that pull out of the CVS and then need to turn on to Lexington Avenue.
Yeah,
There's a,
that should probably be a right turn only out of CVS.
But that intersection right there, I've almost been hit, I don't know how many times, and one day I wasn't so lucky, and
Yeah.
an Uber driver came through and didn't stop and T-boned me.
Mhm.
And it was not a pleasant experience, but I
So-
just didn't know if that was, the bike lane was gonna stop does it stop right there?
So it would taper off right there, unless we're able to work with the State Department and reduce the lane. Another idea is, I don't have a pointer, but, so that stop, so if you're leaving City Hall, and you come to the Boone and Maple intersection, you take a right onto Boone, that's only a one lane. And it's only big enough for a one lane. People try to squeeze in there to take that right turn. And so we talked about making another bump out there, and improving the crosswalk there. And that would help from any potential, incidents. As that lane is a little wider than a normal one lane, but it's not wide enough for two cars. And maybe if you have a little bug or a beetle or something, just do it, but,
And maybe what needs to be done there, because that becomes one lane becomes the turn lane and the straight lane.
mhm,
And if you're in the right-hand lane, you cannot see around the car in the left-hand lane.
yeah. I think,
So-
I think I would say the majority of the traffic are turning left, towards town there. And, so that's where you get a lot of the backup traffic. Like you said, if you're gonna be in this line probably backed up to College or more, and most people are taking a left, so that right lane is probably not. And I don't have images or counts, but I would say that right lane isn't being as used as much as the turning lane.
I know literally, if I'm coming up Boone Avenue at certain times in the afternoon and
Mhm.
coming toward town, I go up College and come down Maple that way.
Right,
And I'm not the only one.
yeah, and so if that were to happen, and I'm not saying we're gonna take that lane out, but if we were to take that lane out where we just make it the one lane where you could then go straight or turn. Some of the habits that could change is if you're coming from the Belmont Avenue, rather than going straight up Boone, just continue up Belmont and take a left onto Main Street. That might, if anyone's who are going straight there instead of taking a left, that might be a quick way for them to take, if that were to change. But again, it all depends on how much money we can make stretch. So
And it's $20,000 grant,
it's either $20,000 or $22,000. Does that sound right to you guys? Yeah.
22.
Well, and at before I asked about the bump out, at the Boone and Maple, Chief, if you've got a truck coming in there, if you've got a truck going down that has to go down Boone, I don't know if that,
Mhm.
I would worry about the safety of somebody there if your truck has to make that turn, because it's tough for those trucks to turn now.
Yes, sir, if that's what they're going to do, then I certainly be in
You have to
conversation.
back
with,
up.
Public Works to make sure that it's feasible.
Yeah.
And if it, yeah, I would say before we put any bump outs in, we'd want to make sure the turning radius for any of our safety vehicles are being
Yeah.
considered.
Well,
Stupid trucks.
but if you're,
That was the
but if
county.
there's a
County was
call on Boone, I mean,
Yeah.
they
Take
can
out-
go
take
all
out
the
the
way down
delineators.
Maple and turn and come back to it.
At the end of the day, if you have to take out the delineators, go ahead, like gonna,
Yeah,
if someone's house is on fire, that's more important than
Yeah.
protecting the
and,
delineators.
and on the bump outs there at College and Boone, we've not had a lot of positive comments about a bump out.
Well, and these are gonna be different. I probably shouldn't use it. So these aren't, so I know the bump outs there on Lexington are bringing the curbs out. Right now, this would just be the linear post with some of those maybe armadillo. You guys call them anything else? Is it armadillos? Armadillos. And so no one's gonna be busting a tire, hopefully, on an armadillo and delineators. It might mess up their paint job on their car, but they're not gonna be
Yeah,
busting a tire like they did on Lexington. And again, this would be on a trial basis, so if we see a lot of that happen, then we'll rethink about it. If we do get a permanent project, we'll rethink about the
Yeah.
bump outs.
I think it's a trial basis. This is all temporary. This is just to see what would work,
Yeah,
public input. But really, it's gonna open up for more grants,
Mhm.
For more connections with the transportation cabinet
Right.
and grant funders to really look at larger projects.
yeah. I like to call it a catalyst for more projects to come. Yeah.
How long is the trial?
So we're hoping to have everything up by August and then it'll be up for the winter. And then I'm sure by spring we take it down.
One
course.
more thing, we're one of 3 cities, right?
One of 3 cities, yes.
Pretty awesome.
Moorhead and Bowling Green were the other 2.
Neat.
And they all met here
Really
when we
need
met with,
help.
yeah, and the cool thing is they all came up to Winchester when Smart Growth America came to present to all of us. And so, yeah, putting us on the map. Oh, and the last page, our little committee that's been formed. So we have Brandy Peacher, Whitney Leggett, Alicia Martin, Brian Sewell, Jesse McCoy, Austin Obanoff, Stephen Barry, and myself. And so we were just all kind of contacted. I think Brandy, I like to say she kind of spearheaded a lot of this. She contacted all of us and got us all together for it. And so it's been good. It's been great. It's one of the things that I had a passion for, like making sure we, in college, I interned with the public health department there in Columbus, Ohio, and worked with the planner that was mapping out, better more walkable areas. And we had an art walk project. And so whenever I can mix art and public infrastructure together and planning together, it's nice, And I remember that one time I tried to ask for an electric bike you weren't here. I tried my first year here, I tried to ask for an electric bike. It's like if the planning office is going to put their money where their mouth is, right? We talk about multiple modes of transportation. We need to do that too. But yeah, sorry. I didn't get the bike.
I was gonna say, where's it parked?
It's not parking.
Okay, any questions or comments from the commission?
I'm excited to see. what
Sounds
y'all
like an
do.
exciting
Yeah.
project. And one more time, it's gonna start when and then go through the winter,
We're hoping to get
August.
Get everything in place by August.
And you'll work with the Board of Education, let them know about the school buses that could be affected also
Yeah. We'll make sure
on the
they're-
turns and all that.
Correct.
Okay.
And
Okay.
account for plow space.
Where we're gonna put the snow.
Yeah.
Make sure we know.
In the
In the
bike
bike
lane.
lane.
I
There'll
think
be a
Steven's gonna get a little.
Sled lane, toboggan lane.
Love it. Just going down the
That'd be
side.
good.
Yeah.
I don't know if the traffic, the stick things that go up. I don't know how they're gonna do with snow
Right,
because the state plows Boone.
yeah,
Oh.
and so we might see a few taken out, but you know what, by that time, we're gonna need to start removing some of this, because it's a temporary project, so that might be.
And it may not snow.
Yeah,
It may not snow until January, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
that's what my truck's some lows, by the way, so.
All right. Okay, anything else for
Just gotta
Rob?
Go back to work tomorrow.
Okay, thank you, sir. Great, good present. We've had 2 good presentations. So next on our agenda, item 5 is adjourn to closed session. Is there anyone on the commission that has an issue you would like to go to closed session for? Mr. Dykeman?
No.
City manager? Okay, then I will take a motion to adjourn the 4:30 meeting and we'll be back in our seats at 5:30.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Cox, second by
I'll second.
Commissioner Tool.
Yes, ma'am.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed by like sign? See you in 25 minutes. Thank you, ma'am. I don't know about letting her speak. Okay, if everyone would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led this evening by Chief Whiteley, followed by the invocation from City Manager Bruce Manley. Chief.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Our dear gracious Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this land, for our country, for our freedoms. We just pray for peace upon the world, dear Father, with everything going on today. But please look down upon us here in Winchester today. Guide us, direct us, lead us to the best decisions to support our community members, our employees, and our first responders. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Sounds like we have some first responders out there right now. Yeah, so that's a good thing. Okay, we will officially call the meeting to order and we'll move to item 2, first reading of an ordinance. 3A, 2A, better put my glasses on, 2A. And before we vote or talk about this at all, I've asked our city attorney to explain to us a little more in depth what this is. I know that the street legal special purpose vehicles have been considered, I think, by the fiscal court, but I don't believe they've passed anything yet. Legislature did this in this last session.
Last session, yeah.
And this becomes effective June 27th, like in a few days, and we're just now finding out about it. So if
Right.
you'll talk a little bit about,
It allows for unlimited access roads for vehicles that will meet the standard of the Department of Transportation with respect to lighting and licensing and so on. It's just another way of allowing transportation in the cities that they deem safe, the General Assembly deemed to be safe. And that's why there's so many regulations about what kind of vehicles they have to be and how they're inspected. But it seems like a good idea. They'll probably be used on the same roadways that the golf carts are allowed now.
okay. So on section 1A, number 4, that's the definition of street legal special purpose vehicle. If anyone wants to look at that. And we just need to vote up or down as to whether we want to allow this in the city. So let's go ahead and get a motion on the floor. Motion to
You
approve.
want me to read it first?
Yes, go ahead.
This is a summary of an ordinance authorizing the operation of street legal special purpose vehicles as defined by KRS Chapter 186 on highways and streets in the city of Winchester, Kentucky, and establishing restrictions for operation. A complete copy of this ordinance may be viewed in the city clerk's office at City Hall, 32 Wall Street. I hereby certify that the foregoing is an accurate summary of the contents of the above titled ordinance. William A. Dyckman, City Attorney.
Hey, Mr. Dykeman, you are recommending this, correct?
Yes,
For what?
186,077 goes into great detail about the equipment required.
Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Chenault. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Strode. Any discussion?
Yes, I've got a question for, these don't have to be licensed, right?
They do.
They do.
And
They
all
do?
the-
Yes, they do.
And insured and all that,
Yes.
right?
It's like a motorcycle.
But they don't have to have a license plate on them, do they?
They do.
They do?
They're gonna have to, yeah.
Okay.
a tag.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know
Should
that
that-
it's exactly the same.
Should that be in
license plate
writing?
that's on a
But,
car,
well,
it is
I
a-
mean,
It is a tag with numbers. and letters.
registered, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, but want to make sure that they did them.
right,
It's like a motorcycle license.
Registered,
Yeah.
insured, and inspections.
Mhm.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries on first read. Madam Clerk, 2B.
This is a summary and ordinance amending ordinance number 15-2024, ordinance number 20-2024, and ordinance number 25-2024 with respect to certain appropriations in the city of Winchester, Kentucky fiscal year 2025 budget. This is an ordinance amending the city of Winchester annual budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2024 and ending June 30th, 2025. Ordinance number 15-2024, ordinance number 20-2024, and ordinance number 25-2024 shall remain unchanged except as follows. And the entire ordinance is available for public review at the city clerk's office at City Hall. General fund balance forward, $3,041,831. Estimated revenues change from $24,690,250 to $28,030,250. Transfers in and out, zero. Total resources available change from $27,732,086 to $31,072,086. Estimated appropriations change from $27,384 or $27,384,913 to $30,224,913. Excess of resources over appropriations change from $347,173 to $847,173. Estimated fund balance end of fiscal year change from $347,173 to $847,173. Capital equipment fund balance forward $1,799,674. Estimated revenues change from $185,000 to $5,495,000. Transfers in and out, zero. Total resources available change from $1,984,674 to $7,294,674. Estimated appropriations change from $1,720,468 to $7,250,468. Excessive resources over appropriations change from $264,206 to $44,206. Estimated fund balance in the fiscal year change from $264,206 to $44,206. MAPS fund balance forward $108,492. Estimated revenues change from $392,000 to $577,000. Transfers in and out change from zero to $190,000. Total resources available change from $500,492 to $875,492. Estimated appropriations change from $679,500 to $856,500. Excess of resources over appropriations changed from a negative $179,008 to $18,992. Estimated fund balance into fiscal year change from negative $179,008 to $18,992. Room tax fund balance forward $39. Estimated revenues, $157,200. Change from $157,200 to $177,200. Transfers in and out, 0. Total resources available, change from $157,200 to $177,239. Estimated appropriations change from $157,200 to $177,239. Excess of resources over appropriations, 0. Estimated fund balance into fiscal year, 0. Other funds balance forward, $429,470. Estimated revenues change from $49,500 to $306,500. Transfers in and out is 0. Total resources available change from $478,972 to $735,972. Estimated appropriations change from $70,200 to $350,200. Excess of resources over appropriations changed from $408,772 to $385,772. Estimated fund balance into fiscal year changed from $488,772,000 to $385,772. I hereby certify that the foregoing is an accurate summary of the contents of the above entitled ordinance. William A. Dykeman, Attorney at Law.
Would you mind repeating that?
Oh, honey, I got another one coming up.
Are you gonna read this?
Okay. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item 2C.
An ordinance adopting a pay classification plan that conforms with the fiscal year 2026 budget.
Okay, and under that, in the budget that we're about to finish adopting, that includes a 3% cost of living raise for all employees. So everybody can know that. So is there a motion? Motion by Commissioner Chenault. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cox. Any discussion?
Yeah, this does not go into effect till the second vote, right?
Right.
That has to be
Mhm.
2 votes, yes.
Yes,
Even though this says, I think, June
the
29.
29.
Julie and I talked about this, and it's a little confusing. Our pay period for the first pay date in July starts on June the 29th. So it's a little weird.
Mm.
We didn't, well, so we said it's best to make it June the 29th. I mean, I know that you all won't, I won't have a meeting until mid-July, but if we wait until mid-July, then we're gonna miss the pay period. So it's,
Mr. Attorney,
Bill, I
what
don't
do we
think we
do?
can make it retroactive, can we?
Not sure about that. I mean, we have to have the 2 readings.
Yeah. It has to, it can't go into effect till after the second reading, and that'll be July the 1st.
No, we're not meeting.
Middle of July.
Middle of July,
Not
we're
gonna
not
be a June.
meeting
Can
July
we,
the 1st.
Can we come back in, just have a brief meeting and do a second reading?
You mean when?
I don't
We have a
know,
call
before-
meeting to
between
do
now
that.
and- Between now
Yeah.
and June the 29th.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that.
let's
But I
do
think
that,
you're right,
please.
Shannon. I don't
We have-
think it.
we
you
have-
can't make it
Yeah.
retroactive.
You can't make it retroactive, that's illegal.
Let's have a call meeting.
Well, let's just let our city manager look for a date and bring us in. We'll just have that
We'll do
only
that.
on the agenda. And,
Special meeting.
Yeah.
Right,
That's fine.
okay, is that okay for the commission?
Yeah.
yeah,
Because we don't want to get all the pay scale mixed up.
that's
and
fine.
Timing and all that, so. Okay, so we are now down to item 2.
Well, we have to
Wait.
vote
Oh,
on that.
yes.
We didn't, see, y'all stop me right in the middle when I'm going good and, okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion further? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by a like sign? Motion carries
With the change, the date change.
with the date change.
No, wait a minute.
We're gonna
Not
vote.
changing.
No,
the-
no,
We're not changing
That's all.
the date.
Good.
Yeah,
We're good. We're good.
Sorry.
It's okay, we're good. Item 3, ordinance for second reading, and this will be a voice vote because this is our annual budget. Madam Clerk?
This is a summary, an ordinance adopting the City of Winchester, Kentucky annual budget for the fiscal year July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026 by estimating revenues and resources and appropriating funds for the operation of city government. This is an ordinance adopting the City of Winchester annual budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2026. The budget contains the following estimated revenues and appropriations. General fund balance forward, $1,200,000. Estimated revenues, $27,815,000. Transfers in and out, zero. Total resources available, $29,015,000. Estimated appropriations, $28,998,528. Excess of resources over appropriations, $16,472. Estimated fund balance into fiscal year, $16,472. Capital Equipment Fund, balance forward, $475,231. Estimated revenues, $3,049,974. Transfers in and out, zero. Total resources available, $3,525,205. Estimated appropriations, $3,525,205. Excess of resources over appropriations, zero. Estimated fund balance into fiscal year, zero. MAPS funds, balance forward, $78,273. Estimated revenues, $392,000. Transfers in and out, zero. Total resources available, $470,273. Estimated appropriations, $739,750. Excess of resources over appropriations, negative $269,477. Estimated fund balance in end of fiscal year, negative $269,477. Room tax fund, balance forward, $2. Estimated revenues, $160,000. Transfers in and out, zero. Total resources available, $160,002. Estimated appropriations, $160,000. Excess of resources over appropriations, $2. Estimated fund balance into fiscal year, $2. Other funds, balance forward, $412,201. Excuse me. Estimated revenues, $258,500. Transfers in and out, zero. Total resources available, $670,701. Estimated appropriations, $197,200. Excess of resources over appropriations, $473,501. Estimated fund balance into fiscal year, $473,501. A complete copy of this ordinance is available for inspection in the office of the City of Winchester City Clerk. I hereby certify that the foregoing is an accurate summary of the contents of the above entitled ordinance. William A. Dykeman, Attorney at Law.
Okay, I'll make the motion to approve. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Strode. Any discussion? All in favor? Oh, voice vote. Sorry, Joy.
It's okay. Commissioner Chenault,
Yes.
Commissioner Strode,
Yes.
Mayor Reed.
Yes.
Commissioner Cox,
Yes.
Commissioner Tool.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 4, general orders.
Okay,
And,
I will be recusing myself as a member of the Habitat Board.
okay, and we'll come and get you in a second. Commissioner Chenault?
No, he doesn't have to because this is not
Says,
property that he's.
Oh,
That's true.
it's only that one tonight, so. Bye, Shannon. Okay, 4A.
An order approving a contract of sale between the City of Winchester, Kentucky and Elizabeth J. Richardson for property located at 21 Lincoln Street for the purpose of the Lincoln Street CDBG redevelopment project Phase 2.
Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Tool. Is there a second?
second,
Second by Commissioner Chenault. Any discussion? I will say to the people sitting out there, what that was about is Commissioner Cox is on the Habitat for Humanity Board, and these are going to be new Habitat for Humanity homes, and therefore he has to recuse himself from voting on what we're doing this evening. So all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Chief, you want to do Commissioner Cox for me? Oh, you must have been listening. Okay, 4B.
An order appointing Tamitha Boykin to the Winchester Clark County Recreational Tourist and Convention for a 3-year term on the restaurant slot.
Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Strode, second by Commissioner Cox. Any discussion?
I was wondering can we say what restaurant they're involved with?
She's with the Restaurant Association.
Ah, okay. Just wondering. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? I think I saw Tammy
Yes.
come in.
There.
You want to come up and let people see who you are?
I do know who she is.
We,
To get a copy first. We distribute multiple restaurants all over the country, including the governor's mansion. We supply everything from meetings, wants, and desires of everything. I have volunteered in multiple places here in Clark County and love the help to grow. We get a lot of tourism from George. I'm happy to meet people every year visit, and we get those coming back and forth. So I really want to make it more of that fun part of me. And I want to help the board of already established and everyone.
here's your copy of your appointment.
And I love your earrings. Are they?
Thank you. Those were made by a vendor at the Clark County Farmers Market. Please come see us.
And Tamitha was able to step into that slot because she is a member of the Restaurant Association. So thank you, Tamitha. We're glad to have you on tourism. Okay, let me see where we are. 5A through D, 5A.
An order reclassifying Travis Sturgill from part-time EMT to full-time EMT.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Tool. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Chenault. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item 5B.
An order promoting Mackenzie Swatzler from full-time single row paramedic to EMS lieutenant.
Okay, Chief. It's all yours. How about we go ahead and approve her first?
Yeah,
Okay, is there a motion?
so moved.
Okay, by Commissioner Cox. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Strode. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries, and I'll turn it back to you again, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor, Commission, City Manager. We recently concluded an EMS lieutenant promotion process. Although there were a lot of applicants that were exterior applicants that weren't within the fire service or within our department, our best option was our own Mackenzie Squaw. So Mackenzie has spent over 15 years in emergency medical services. 7 of those has been as a paramedic. She's filled in an acting role for a number of months now as that position has been vacant. And part of that process she had to go through was a practical test, a written test. She had to go through an interview process. She had to go through both written and practical test. And then finally an interview with the chief where it was just one-on-one, she and I. And it's very evident and very quickly learned from talking to her, her vision for not only herself and her growth and her career works in tandem with the core values of our department. We're very proud of that. So we bring you Mackenzie Swatzler.
Almost Lieutenant.
And maybe again, our husband Corey, you want to introduce your family?
Yes, so this is my husband, Corey Swatzler. We're high school sweethearts.
Oh,
Swayze and Steely Joe.
all right.
And my in-laws are here as well.
It's awesome. Congratulations, Lieutenant Swatzler. Okay, item 5C.
An order reclassifying Jesse McCoy.
Okay, this will be a voice vote. Joy? Madam
Um,
Clerk,
You need a.
is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Commissioner Strode. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Chenault. Any discussion?
I still think this needs to be a separate department. And I think we will see that it needs to be.
We can look at that.
Mhm.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Yes,
All in favor, oh, voice vote.
Commissioner Chenault,
Yes.
Commissioner Strode,
Yes.
Mayor Reed.
Yes.
Commissioner Cox,
Yes.
Commissioner Tool.
Yes.
Motion carries. And I do want to say that Jesse, who's sitting back here against the wall, has been leading our efforts on Main Street. And I don't mean just leading them. He's been like right in the middle of them. And he's helped little old ladies across the street like me. and different people that have come up and down, and he's been our direct contact and has been doing a phenomenal job overseeing our project, because that is no small project up there. So Jesse, thank you, and we're glad you're reclassified.
That's right.
Thank you.
Well, if I might add, Mayor, that's exactly the reason I think it needs to be separate. Because if he's gonna oversee projects, not only that one, but others, he needs to be independent.
I'll toss in that I was gonna ask about the idea of retroactive. However, I think we established about 15 minutes ago that you can't retroactive. Okay, so.
Okay, 5D.
An order employing Quimby Byron to fill the position of part-time single role EMT.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Tool. Is there a second?
Second, everybody's gone to sleep.
Everybody's asleep. Commissioner Strode, any discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Okay, item 6, let's go with comments. Let's start with you, Commissioner Tool. How about that?
You've gotten, oh, well, I've got nothing, but
Okay. Commissioner Cox?
Nothing?
Excuse me.
we gotta go stay.
Oh,
Okay, okay.
Jill signed it.
All right, hold on. Let me just go ahead and finish this.
Jill, I'm so excited.
We'll get you. We'll get you, Jill. I got you on a piece of paper. Okay, Commissioner Strode?
Oh, I have a lot to say, but I'm not gonna step on Whitney's toes here, but considering what we had to go through and reroute and rework downtown, Beer Cheese really was a huge success. And thanks to Public Works, the fire department, the police department, the work release program from the jail, it takes the village and the committee. But I thought everything went so well. We had a lot of positive comments, didn't we, Whitney? And a lot of people commented on what was going on downtown. So it was a good way to showcase that. So I'm very proud of it. And again, I just want to say thanks to everybody that pitched in and did their job, because there would be no festival if we didn't have those departments, for sure.
Commissioner Chenault? Okay. All right. And I do want to, she will not say anything about herself, but I want to give Vice Mayor Strode a hands up and a big clap for what she did, because she coordinates this and has for years and years, and older than Beer Cheese. Like
Now wait just a minute.
Let me check. A longer than Beer Cheese. No, I'm kidding. But we appreciate what you do.
A lot of
And,
help.
and thank you for that very, very much. City Manager?
Yes, ma'am. I want to echo the comments that Commissioner Strode said about Beer Cheese. We couldn't do it without everybody here, all the city employees. So thank you for that. Jesse, you're doing a tremendous job. Thank you. Yeah,
Yes.
appreciate you. And I want to announce too, for the police department, that they were awarded the Kentucky Office of Homeland Security Law Enforcement Protection Program Grant, which is $32,700 for the purchase of 40 duty pistols. So if you remember, this was part of our conversation in our capital budget,
Yeah, it was.
and we said we'd approve that if we got the grant, and we
Okay.
did. So
That's
Right.
awesome.
Good job.
that's all I have.
Mr. Dykeman?
Nothing, Mayor.
Okay, and the only thing that I basically want to say is I think our project is moving along really, really well. And I do appreciate the weekend. I had a gentleman come up to me down here on Saturday and say, you know, I just want you to know I've been on the website and noticed that you all are having a festival this weekend. I've never been to your community, and what a great place this is. And I heard numerous comments over the weekend. So I just want to say, thanks to everybody that did anything. And even if you were one that showed up and drank an L8, we thank you for doing that, for being part of it. Other than that, I have nothing. And now let's call Miss Jill Hamlin to the podium to see what's on her mind.
And Mayor, while Jill's coming up, I do want to announce we're going to cancel the July 1st
Yes.
commission meeting due to just light agendas, people on vacation. That's a holiday week. And then we'll have another regular meeting on July 15th.
Okay. Do we need to get you a box to stand on?
Right. Honestly, say Winchester always rises to the occasion.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
All right, so thank you all for allowing me these few minutes. So for those that don't know who I am, my name is Jill Hamlin, and I'm the proud and honored Executive Director for Winchester Clark County Tourism. So woo, Winchester, we're awesome. So we had our board meeting today, and we just got these results. So this is the 2024 Economic Impact Study of Tourism in Kentucky. So the governor just announced all this. He made a beautiful statement, but I really wanted to bring this to light about exactly what tourism does for our state, for our region, and for Winchester and Clark County. Okay, so here we go. So the state, on the state level, now these are big numbers, all right? These are big, big numbers. This makes me so excited. So on the state level, this is all related to tourism and hospitality, those roles. And that's pretty much it. So on the state level, tourism supports employment. On the state level, 97,394 jobs. For labor and income, it brought in $3.596 billion, that's with a B, dollars. For state and local taxes, it brought in $1.035 billion, that's another B, dollars. For the economic impact total for the state, $14.3 billion. Okay, that's where we do that. In Kentucky, we're awesome, and obviously it shows, right? Okay, so now with tourism, we are broken into regions. So Winchester, Clark County we are in the region called the Bluegrass Horses Urban and Boone region. Okay, so that means we're really cool. We're awesome. All right. So within our region, that's 9 other counties and tourism bureaus together. We together, part of that, jobs that we just talked about. So on the total scale, 97,394 jobs. Of that, our region, we supported 19,211 of those jobs. All right. For labor and income, we brought in $3.1 million. For state and local taxes, $206.7 million, with a total impact just for the region that we brought in, $2.67 billion of that total $14.3 billion. Right. Now, here's the good stuff for Clark County. All right, so now we all remember all those big numbers, right? Right, okay. This is what we as the county did. We supported 424 of those jobs. For labor and income, $12.9 million. For state and local taxes, $4.8 million, with a total economic impact of, drumroll, anybody? Here we go, here we go. $63.6 million. Everybody take a bow on that. That is our community. That is our people that are helping voice the positive stuff and talking about how wonderful we are and how wonderful all the things are that we have here to come and see and come and visit. And if you are looking for something to do, if you're one of those people that hears someone say there ain't nothing to do here, please come see me, because yes, there is so much to do here. And we are so proud to be part of that positivity, and it's showing, and it will continue to show as long as we all work together like we have been doing. So I thank you all for that. I thank you all and all of those watching in other formats today. So thank you all so much for that. And yes, during the festival, I also want to say, Brian, where are you at? I know you're in here. You and your crew, man, knocked it out for the festival. You guys are, they're crazy good, y'all. They're crazy good. And again, the wonderful jail crew with the services that they're providing. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, the tent that I have to set up Y'all, I'm 4'10". I had to level this mic back down. I cannot put that tent up by myself. It would not be good. It would just not be good. But they got that thing up within seconds and we were ready to roll. And then they all rolled back to help take it down and to help other merchants, other vendors, other visitors as well take their stuff down and get it back to where it needed to be. So awesome job. Thank you all so much. I love this community. Come see me.
Thank you, Jill. We're gonna send you to a class to help you overcome your shyness. So
Oh, yeah.
just wanna-
But I do have copies of these and I will email this as well to anybody that wants it. So please just holler at me. Thank you again.
Email it so it can be in the next packet. Email to whomever that,
Email it to
Okay.
me.
To you?
thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, before I ask for a motion to adjourn, there are two quick other things. Rock the Block has been rescheduled for this Friday night and on Depot Street at what time?
7 to 9.
7 to 9. So everybody try to come out and the fireworks display will be at Likens Park on July the 3rd. So everybody come out and enjoy a lot of things we've got going on and continue watching the progress downtown as we move forward. Is there a motion to
So moved.
adjourn?
Okay.
Commissioner Cox, is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Chenault. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed by like sign? We stand adjourned. Mackenzie.